Won't you come along with me? Do Mississippi. We'll take the boat to the Landrum tree. Keep down the river down to New Orleans. Up and Saturday nights. Oh, Saturday night. You'll see the rest of the boats on you. Keep down the river, this is Basin Street. Basin Street is the street where you always need land of free. Since I don't know that to be, yes, sorry, where I'm free. It's you here where I am. My Basin Street blues. Dear Lord, oh God, that Almighty God, please look down and see my people. I believe that God the Son and you in the sky. So I won't mind the grace and cause they're just clouds passing by. Oh, dear Lord of God, that Almighty God, please look down and see my Someday, that's the
Good morning. Thank you for that round of applause. And welcome to First Parish Church of Stowe and Acton, to FPC, to our members and friends, a welcoming spiritual community. My name's Hector Constantzos, and I serve as chair of membership as well as a lay minister. If this is your first time with us, we welcome you. I'd like to introduce our minister and a few of our staff and invite them to wave if they're present as they're named. Our minister is the Reverend Cindy Landrum. If not, oh, you're still here. Okay, never mind. Skip that part. Our music director is Brad Dumont, who's not here at the time. Our welcoming and membership coordinator is still Joleen Trotta, way in the back. And our religious education director is still Michelle Coté. And the rest of our staff are listed in your order of service. Please feel free to ask any of these people for more information about the church and its programs after the service or by email. We also invite you to check out our webpage for news and information, and you can also sign up there for our newsletter and email alerts. For your safety and that of those around you, we ask that you please keep your masks on properly over your nose, says the person standing up without a mask. Yeah, I know. Please observe 3 feet of social distancing and check with people you're talking to about what distance they feel comfortable with. Some restrooms are off limits, so please check the signs on the doors and please make sure the air filters are on when you congregate in any room. After the service, it is our custom to have a coffee hour, air quotes. Our COVID protocols do not allow us to eat and drink, but please gather in the atrium where we'll have a few surprises for Jolene's commemorative service. You can find, there's tons of major announcements to make. I won't make them. They're in your order of service. Feel free to read them. Feel free to ignore them. I'm not going to bore you with them. But I would like to do the land acknowledgement, although I will put in a plug for spiritual conversations through poetry after the service and the parlor on Zoom. As we begin, we would like to acknowledge that this service, our meeting, is being held by a community that gathers on the stolen traditional lands of the Massachusetts, Nipmuc, Pawtucket, and Wampanoag people. We pay respects to elders who lost their lives in the colonization of this land, and recognize that these indigenous tribes are still today facing violations of sovereignty, territory, and water. We also give thanks for the earth we walk upon, the waters, the life-giving plants, and all the earth's creatures, as well as the winds, sun, moon, and stars. We recognize this is just the first step in moving towards right relationship with Native peoples and healing of the earth. And we now invite you to turn and greet your neighbor.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, clap once. Welcome to FPC, where the weather may be hot, but the jazz is cool. Thank you for being with us this morning. Come into this circle of connection and community. Come into this circle of caring and compassion. Come into this circle of justice and power. Come, let us worship together. I light this chalice, symbol of our free faith. The flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. And there's no wick, but this will work. Ah, see? Improv, that's what it's all about today. Our chalice today stands for many things. And apparently if I stand too far that way, I get feedback. So our chalice stands for many things. Today, the fire of inspiration and the cup of community. Next up, our opening hymn, number 360. Here we have gathered. Please stand in body or in spirit.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us this morning. Stand up. Yes. Just a quick note about this hymn. Thank you for being with us in actuality and virtually. It's great. So the front line here are the horns and wind instruments here are going to play it through once just to get you oriented. Then Sarah will lead the congregation in song 3 times through. We'll do all 3 verses. So, and then have a seat because we have a little surprise planned for you with this particular hymn after we're done. Okay? So basic rule: follow Sarah when Sarah's done singing. You're done singing too. Sit down and enjoy. Thanks. 2, 3,
Please join now in our covenant and affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church and service its law. This is our great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. As we centering today, let's center around Joleen. So Joleen, come on up. Nine years ago, Joleen took on the role of membership coordinator. She took that role and she made it her own. She has now become the face of FPC. How many of you, when you first came to FPC, were greeted by Joleen? Woo. Shown the church, welcomed, and entertained what it is this community can offer you. She has been an instrumental person in helping build this community and keep it whole. We would like to recognize Joleen, and we'll recognize her in a lot of ways. But first, let me give you a little gift. You can't if you want. This is a token of our appreciation and a remembrance of you, and what we stand for.
Our membership committee currently has no chair, but the last standing chair of that committee was Hector Constantzos. And the membership committee has worked a lot with Joleen throughout the years. So I've asked Hector on behalf of our membership committee to come and say a few words. And Joleen, why don't you come on up here?
Mwahaha. So the first story I'd like to start with was when Joleen first started as membership. She, as we all know, she's a very bright, shining, smiling person, makes everybody feel welcome. She was a perfect fit for this job. And the children all loved her. And there was one young person that was so enamored with her but couldn't pronounce her name and just kept calling her Jelly. Of course I did. I told you I would. But we all know how welcoming she is. As Sharon pointed out, so many of us you're the first person we saw, the first face we saw when we started coming here. It's so wonderful and we're going to I'll miss seeing her wandering around the sanctuary as we're preparing for service. She greets everybody with a personal greeting, and when she sees a face that she doesn't recognize, she welcomes them, talks to them, invites them to find out more about FPC, and always makes sure that they know where they can go to get more information. On Zoom, when we had to go to Zoom, everybody recognized that sing-song, "Good morning, welcome to FPC." Everybody knows I tried imitating that whenever she wasn't present, and it failed miserably. The way you did it was unreproducible. So we're going to miss a lot of things. I'll also miss when we were in membership meetings. She would get so passionate about topics that I'd have to remind her to take a breath and break it and give somebody else a chance to speak up. We're going to miss her as membership coordinator, but fortunately we won't miss her completely since she still is a member of the congregation and we'll still see her at services. Thank you so much, Joleen.
Well, in letting Sharon and Hector go first, I let them steal all my best lines. But if there's one thing I've learned about Joleen working with you for these 4 years, I'm saying you, she, is that you have a deep love for this community. And I knew that immediately upon meeting you, and I've known it this whole time working with you, that FPC is in your heart, and that you brought that love and that caring to your work in this role. And we couldn't be more grateful for that heart you gave us for all this time, for these 9 years. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
We want to present you this on behalf of the congregation. Yes, you should open it now. It says, "Keep love's banner floating o'er you," a line from our closing song, "With love from FPC." And this is, of course, one of our roof slate tiles. And we just hope that that love of FPC goes with you wherever you go until you're back with us again in your new role as just a member of FPC.
Plain old member.
Plain old member. So yeah, Joleen's going to be taking some distance. We'll see her around from time to time. She'll still come to events and things, but we know that it's going to be hard for her to walk into the sanctuary for a while without everybody expecting her to be in this role. And so when you see her, she'll probably slip in late or she'll come, more occasionally, and then she'll be back with us after a year again, is the plan. So, Joleen, did you want to say anything?
I do.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, I am very short, so hopefully you can hear me. I just want to share that, and this reminds me, when I first started coming here, I started coming here for my children, and I just jumped right into the religious education area with Michelle. And I was sorry, I'm just so emotional right now. I joined the RE committee, and on that committee were some really lovely people. And one of those people was our very dear late friend, Nali Shrivastava. And I'm sorry. Nali is somebody who was so welcoming and so loving. And she really was the reason why I kept on coming back. My children referred to her as my best friend, and she was just someone who I grew very close to. And she is the reason why I took this position. She kind of basically forced me to. She's like, just come and sit with Tom and a few from personnel, which included Anne and Marcia, and it turned out to be an interview, and I felt a little tricked, although I kind of knew, but but in the end, I felt so honored to have this position. I really, truly enjoyed coming here and talking about this congregation, helping people find whether or not this was their right church home, and helping them grow that sense of belonging. And it came so easy because this church is just such a lovely place. All those of you who served on the board have all been so lovely and supportive to me, because it hasn't always been easy. Our church has been through a lot of transition, and it can be tricky for staff. And you are also supportive personnel, the staff, Cindy, all of you have been lovely. The membership committee, they clearly tolerated my passion for certain things. And Hector, you played a huge role in membership, and I really am grateful for that. There's so many people who really were supportive to me, but mostly Nolly and I suppose mostly all of you. So I hope that you will continue to be as welcoming to folks who come through this door, because I surely did not do it alone. You guys were always there, and I know I'm forgetting to say something, but I'm so grateful, and I look forward to serving this congregation by your side as a member. So thank you.
Thank you, Joleen. And so after the service, we invite you to come down to the atrium. There are some cards for you to sign and cupcakes. And so take your cupcake and go outside to eat, where you'll be able to greet Joleen outside probably in that little garden area there, and say some words individually to her. Thank you, Joleen. And now some jazz. When I first came to this church, I learned that we have this thing every year that we call RE Extravaganza. And what RE Extravaganza is it's an opportunity for us to talk to you about what the RE program, religious education program, is all about in this church, and to invite people to sign up for next year. Because it really does take a village to run an RE program. We have so many things that the RE program does. It is not just classes on Sunday morning, although it is that too. It is also groups for every age level, senior high youth group, junior high youth group, Club UU for our K-5 kids. And then it is also OWL and special programs and parties like the Halloween party and so much more. So every year at this time, we invite the parents to sign up their kids for the next program year so that we have an idea as we're planning over the summer. Like you might ask, why do I have to sign up in the spring? Because we plan over the summer for what numbers of age groups we need based on the registrations we get in. And we kind of dropped that practice during COVID, but it's time for us to start doing that again. And especially with Michelle departing this role, we need your help in really doing that sign up now so that our next RE director will have a sense of who's in the program. The other thing I want to say is that you don't have to be a parent to sign up for RE and to help in RE. While we ask our parents to sign up their kids and register them and also to sign up to help in various areas, we welcome people of all ages in this church in helping out in religious education. So if anybody, regardless of whether or not you have kids or grandkids in the program, wants to sign up to help out and let our next RE director know that you're on board for building a healthy and a successful RE program next year, we'd love to have you sign up today. And with that said, I'm going to hand the floor to Michelle.
Now we need 1 minute to set everything, so talk amongst yourselves for 1 minute.
Greet your neighbor again.
All right. Welcome to our message for all ages, which is called Growing the Garden of RE. Can I have thumbs up from the back if you can hear me? Okay. I'm going to keep the mask on because I'm just because it's safer. All right. And I wrote this, so if you like it, tell me. If you don't say anything. Once upon a time, there was a church looking to grow its religious education program. A man in the congregation agreed to go see if he could find out how to improve and grow the program. One sunny day, he began his voyage, and as he walked, he found a path that had a sign that said, "Go this way." And I don't know where our sign is, but go this way.
There it is, right there.
All right.
Can't see it?
No? All right, it's there. So being of the adventurous sort, he decided to follow the path into some woods. Suddenly, the woods got dark, and a bright light appeared. In the light appeared a fairy. The man was obviously startled and asked the fairy,
Who are you?
I am the fairy of RE.
The man was thrilled as he thought maybe the fairy could help him figure out how to grow their RE program. So he asked her advice. And the fairy smiled and said,
Oh, you know, to grow your RE program, you must find the magic treasures.
Magic treasures? Wherever would I find those?
Well, you follow the path that's in front of you, and you will find what you see.
and with that, the fairy disappeared. Much to the man's delight, a new path, shining bright, appeared before him, and he began to follow it. He had been on the path for only a few minutes when he saw some gold coins. It took him a little longer than he thought.
There they are.
He smiled and took them, knowing that this indeed must be the treasure that the fairy had mentioned. He took the bag and went on his way. He continued on the path, humming to himself in happiness. No, you're not going to put those in the bag yet. But he stopped because he thought he heard someone crying.
What is wrong? Were you lost?
No, I am just so sad.
Wait 1 minute, little girl.
You see, my parent lost their job last year, and it took them a long time to find a new job. We got behind in our house payments, and now we will lose our house as we just don't have a way to make up the money that we lost.
Oh, no. I think I was meant to share this with you. This should help your family keep their home.
The child hugged him and thanked him and said,
I wish I had something to give you, but all I have is this pack of seeds. Will you take this in thanks?
Seeds? Sure.
The man agreed and then resumed his travels. Suddenly, a path lit up again, and the man noticed something else shining ahead of him. It was a pile of books.
Look, a pile of books.
Sorry, some of this is improv. Okay. He thought to himself that this must be the treasure that the RE fairy meant him to have. So he picked up the books and went on his way. He was thinking of all the ways he could use these books to help the RE program grow when he heard some talking. He noticed there was a family sitting at a picnic table, but they all looked very sad. He stopped and said,
Hello, you all seem upset. What is wrong?
Well, after yesterday's vote, our town's library is closed, and we don't have any books to read anymore as it is summer and school is over.
The man looked at his pile of books and knew once again what he needed to do. He gave the books to the family and said,
Look, I happen to have some books. So please enjoy them and share them with each other.
The family was delighted and thanked him. As he went on his way, the child ran up to him and said,
Wait. We wanted to give you this to thank you.
the child handed him a pack of seeds and ran back to their family.
Oh, good. More seeds.
He was puzzled. He shrugged, but put the seeds in his bag. Once again, he went off on the path, wondering if he would ever find a treasure that would help his RE program grow. Suddenly, once again, ahead of him, he saw something glistening in the sun.
What's that?
It came from a lantern that was glowing and covered in jewels. He picked it up, thinking that maybe this lantern was the treasure that the RE program needed to grow. As he looked in awe at this beautiful light, thinking of how he might use it as he continued on his way, he paused because he thought he heard a small voice say,
Excuse me, sir.
he looked all around and saw a person standing there.
I wondered if you could tell me where you got that light. As you see, my husband can't see very well, and we aren't able to travel and help our neighbors as we used to. Can you tell me where you found it? It is so bright. And I know if I had such a light, my husband could make his way and we could keep helping our neighbors as we used to.
I just happen to have a lantern. I think you have much more use for this than I do. Please take it and go about your mission of helping others.
Thank you, thank you. I have very little to give you, but I do have this pack of seeds.
Oh, good. More seeds!
Once again, the man puzzled by the gift of seeds was puzzled, but he graciously took it. He turned to continue on his way and realized he was back at his church. He was confused and disappointed and wondered why the fairy had told him he would find treasure when he hadn't found anything at all to help his church. All at once, the bright light shone again and the fairy reappeared. And the man said,
I don't mean to be ungrateful, but I don't seem to have found the treasure you promised me on that magic path. Is there another path I should have followed?
Oh, my dear, you did receive a treasure. 3 of them.
I found 3 treasures, but I gave them to people that needed them more than I.
My dear, they gave you treasure in return.
Suddenly, the man remembered the packs of seeds and pulled them from his bag. For the first time, he looked at the seeds and noticed what the packets said. The first one from the family needing help said seeds of empathy and caring. The second one from the family who had no books said seeds of knowledge and understanding. And the final pack from the older woman said seeds of spirituality. The fairy said to the man,
This is what you need to continue to grow your program. Plant these seeds and you will see there are many people in your congregation who will help you tend to them, nurture them, and allow them to grow. Soon you will see a garden of empathy and caring, knowledge and understanding, and the bright light of spirituality will fill your church. Together you will grow the next garden of RE.
and so the man began to scatter the seeds, and soon people joined him. And in some of your pews, there are garden tools, so if you want to come and help. And indeed, the program began to blossom and grow. The fairy looked down and smiled and said,
I knew that together these seeds planted and tended by many would indeed grow and thrive. Children will grow strong in this beloved community.
and she flew off, knowing that the roots of this garden were strong and resilient and would continue to grow for a long, long time. I want to thank the people. to thank all the people that last minute kind of just threw themselves in here and helped out. And I also want to say this is probably one of the most personal messages that I've ever shared, because this is, it's not my program, but it's the program that I've nurtured, I've grown, I've seeded, I've watered, I've weeded, and I need you to all know that it's also your program. And in each one of you, if each one of you thinks of what can I do to help this church, to help this RE program, to help our church continue to grow, to thrive again, to grow again, I'm asking you to all consider what you could do to help moving forward. Sue Powers right now is handing out a form, which Cindy referenced before, the volunteer registration form. If you have helped in RE before, and you haven't helped in a couple of years because we haven't needed it, we've been on Zoom or in small classes, I would highly ask you to consider helping in the fall trimester. If you are an experienced RE person and you've taught before, even if you don't have kids, because then we know that the program is strong and in place, and it will help nurture and grow the DRE that comes after me. So please consider filling out this form and giving it either to Sue Stewart, Susan Powers, or me. Okay? Thank you so much. And I think Cindy's up now, right?
Thank you, Michelle. One of the real gifts Michelle has brought to this program is that she does a lot of original writing, like this skit you just saw, and many curricula that our kids have engaged in. It's ironic that she used the metaphor of seeds because Michelle didn't know that on Friday night at our annual meeting, our Board of Trustees also used the metaphor of seeds and thanked all the volunteers who have helped so much this year and gave them a gift of seed packets. If you weren't at the annual meeting and you were a volunteer this year, we want you to know that our staff and leadership of this church thank you. And there are many seed packets, I believe, still available downstairs in the atrium, which is that area inside the main front doors off the main parking lot. If you've been wondering what we mean when we say atrium, we just mean that sort of vestibule area there as you come in off the parking lot. That's where you'll find seed packets and cupcakes after the service. This is our time in our service when we share those joys and sorrows that are on our hearts and minds and ask that they be lifted up in loving community. So I'm going to invite forward Hector Constantzos, our lay minister, to share those we've received online. I'm going to go up to the pulpit where I get less feedback. For all those joys and sorrows lifted up today, and for those that have remained silent in our hearts and minds, let it be true that they're shared in loving community. We're grateful for this opportunity to come together. Now, right about now, you may be looking at your phone and saying, it's 11:05, even though the Willard clock says it's 20 till. And you may be wondering, she still says it's sermon down there in the order of service and several more pieces of music. So I'm just going to let you know what's going to happen here because I know you're starting to stick to the varnish on the pews, right? We're going to keep on playing with the jazz band for a little bit longer. At this point, the children are going to go out with Michelle to religious education. But in the spirit of improvisation, I didn't actually write a sermon today. I was going to improvise one, but we're just going to skip right over that bit a little bit. I might say like just a couple words, but we're going to do all the music still that's left in the service because I know that's part of what you came here for, was to hear that music. I mean, I know you come to hear my sermons, right? But still. So let me say a couple words of meditation and prayer here, and then we will go forward with the light and have the jazz band back up again. Spirit of life and love. We're grateful for religious community, for the strengths and the compassions which it holds, for the caring hand, the helping hand, the footwork, the ways in which one by one, person by person, we build beloved community and bend the arc towards justice. Thank you for the gifts of each and every person here today, whether physically in this room or with us online, and the caring circles that they encompass as our reach reaches out further and further into the world. to do the work of justice, and to build the world of peace we dream of. Blessed be, and amen.
All right, so before you all come up, if you let us just leave with the lantern, it says different, but we're gonna scooch on a little early. Eve's gonna carry our lantern for us, and I didn't remember the real lantern, so we're gonna use sort of the jeweled lantern that previously didn't bring, but it's missing a door, so we cannot use a real light, so we're gonna use this.
And the stars shall give, and the stars shall lose. So the Bible said, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Yes, the strong gets home while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grave. Mama may have them, Papa may have, but God bless a child that's got his own. That's got his own. Money, you got lots of friends crowding round your door. When you're gone, and the sentient hands, they don't come no more. Rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless a child that's got his own. That's got his own. Rich relations give us a breath and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own.
Some of what I was going to talk to you about today is that improvisation looks effortless, it looks easy, and it looks unplanned and like spontaneous. But the truth is that improvisation is built upon building blocks of knowledge and experience, and that it's only when you've learned those basics and fundamentals that you can free yourself up to do something different, to move outside of the score and to improvise. And there are ways in which we do this in life, that we build upon the building blocks we've learned, and that we feel free then to move off a little bit differently. I'm doing that today in worship. We have the building blocks of worship service, and we've done that in different ways throughout this year where we've changed the flow, changed the format, changed the technology, and yet it still holds the container of worship because we have those fundamentals underneath it. Nope. Okay. So one of the things I did today was forget to share the video about the plate sharing today with Ben, our tech assistant. And so he said, no, he can't pull it up at the last minute. So I'm going to ask you improvisationally to give as if you had just heard a 2.5 minute to 3 minute video inspiringly telling you about the work of the Boston area gleaners. And we're going to make sure we have that video for next week for you. We've pushed it back all month with them. We should have been able to do this at the beginning of the month, but we've had such a busy month with our worship service that we haven't been able to squeeze it into a service any Sunday yet. So the Boston area gleaners deserves your participation in their wonderful work. And they do have inspiring words to share with you, which you'll hear next week. And I'll probably put it out on video midweek too, just to let you know more about their work. So I invite you to give generously to the work that they do. You can read about it in your order of service, and it's also on their website, which is bostonareagleaners.org. And that's in your order of service as well. And for their good work and the work of this church, we will now gratefully receive the morning offering.
1, 2,
Thank you, Parish Jazz Band. It's been a delight. Our closing hymn is Amazing Grace. Now, it's a kind of different song to sing as a closing. Usually I put it as a middle hymn, but the jazz band does it in jazz style. And which is something I really appreciate as someone who grew up listening to jazz and grew up singing Amazing Grace with my family, my dad and my aunt and relatives singing around the house. And so please stand in body or in spirit and join in song.
a little roadmap here, okay? Sarah's going to sing 2 verses. You're going to join her. It'll be verses 1 and 3. 1 and 3, yeah. Amazing Grace and Through Many Dangers, all right? And then we'll improvise for a little bit in the middle. Rest and then when Sarah comes back, join her in the end of the song. Okay, thanks.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I was lost, but now am found. Once blind, but now can see. Through many dangerous toils and snares, we have already come. Jesus Christ has brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. When we've been here 10,000 years, we're shining as the sun. We always say to sing God's praise, and when we first begun, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now can see.
Before we say some words of benediction, and because I didn't get this into the order of service, could we introduce all the members of the Parish Jazz Band today?
Especially since we have some new members. So let me start down in the end. So Lindsay Lazo on trumpet, Phil Cascade on trombone, John McNeil on saxophone for our musicians, and new member Peggy Langley on flute, Sarah, you all know Sarah. Our very newest member has been with us just about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Steve Warnick from Lowell, Massachusetts on piano. My trusty backups back there, Peter Fisk on drums. Fuji Spade on bass. And I'm Michael Palladini. Thank you.
May we go out in peace and love, clapping and dancing until we are together again.
Peace be with you till we meet again. As life places us before you, keep the banner floating o'er you. Peace be with you till we meet again. Our nights of quiet stars, holy chords from my guitar, floating on the silence that surrounds us. Quiet thoughts and quiet dreams, holy chords that golden streams, and a window looking on the mountain and the sea. This is where I want to be. You with you so close to me until the final flicker of the candle. I just lost and lonely, leaving reckless hungry. I've been a tragic joke around with you. No meaning of existence, oh my love.